Hello viewers, I hope you all are continuing your learning journey with me so far the research is concerned and career is concerned. So today I am going to cover the topic that is writing hypothesis. But before getting into it, let me have a quick recall of my previous video in which I have stated about research question and research hypothesis. And if you go just before that, I also stated how to frame the objectives because all these three things have connectivity. A researcher always starts his or her journey with the research objective, as I always repeatedly saying in my videos. And once the objectives are framed based on the research questions we have in our mind, the next step is to frame the hypothesis, if at all it is being justified. So that is very important. In my previous video, I have emphasized on research hypothesis, what are the major ways of writing research hypothesis, or you can call it as types of research hypothesis, directional, I said, relational, association, hypothesis of associations, and other than this, yes, there are a lot of other types of hypothesis, but primarily we are taking up these three hypotheses which we usually, or you can say frequently, using in our research process. So today my video will be focusing on that how to write hypothesis. Again, I have come across a lot of times with these scholars facing a lot of issues, how to frame the hypothesis and then how to convert it into null and alternate hypothesis. But in my video, I will be taking up a research question, then objective, and then based on that objective, how we frame mainly the null and alternate hypothesis. As I always say that for the scientific study, we have to frame the hypothesis in null and alternate way, that is H0 and H1, and then we prove it subsequently with the help of the relevant statistical tools and techniques which will be further coming in my videos. So without taking too much of time, let's move on to the board to understand that how we start writing research hypothesis. Here it comes.
So now let's begin with writing hypothesis. As you can see the slide, have a quick review of, first of all, the hypothesis, what is all about. Hypothesis is an assumption to be proved or disproved. As we always say that we make an assumption and then we test it accordingly to prove it or to disprove it. However, it is important to note that it is based on some logic or reasoning, because whenever we frame an assumption, it should be based on some logic or any kind of reasoning we want to cover in our research. It is always formulated by the researcher to validate the objective or objectives, because maybe if we are formulating 2 or 3 objectives, so maybe in one objective or 2 objectives we may require hypothesis to frame on and then to proceed accordingly. So it is formulated by the researcher to validate the objectives framed for the research work. I have taken certain examples to explain you or to make you easy to formulate the hypothesis, so that then its testing will be carried out accordingly. So here are the certain examples from the research component I have taken. As you can see in the slide, it is the first I have mentioned the research question, then research objective, and then to examine that research objective or to fulfill the objective, I have framed research hypothesis. The research question, as you can see, is that is there any influence of demographic variables on the social value of fashion luxury brands? Now, if your study is related to the luxury brands, let's suppose per se, then for that your research question is this, and then pertaining to the research question, the objective you frame is like to examine the effect of demographic variables on the social value of fashion luxury brands. Just position your research, your concept or your thought which you want to carry in your research with this example which I have placed here. So then framing your research question, your research objective and your research hypothesis will be easy. This is the benefit of sharing the video to you all, so that you can understand it and parallelly you can frame the things accordingly. So based on the objective, that is to examine the effect of demographic variables on the social value of fashion luxury brands, the hypothesis stated as H0, we always call it as null because we are going to test the hypothesis. So yes, in between you can frame the general hypothesis, as I stated in my earlier video, that is maybe directional or election, but here we are examining the effect. So to test it, we have to frame null and alternate hypothesis. Usually sometimes the scholar goes with the one or hypothesis, then the other is other is automatically be there. Like for an example, if you frame alternate, then obviously there will be the null, and if you frame null, then obviously there will be alternate. So here I have taken both hypothesis to give you the clear understanding of hypothesis writing. H0, there is no significant difference in the social value of fashion luxury brands based on the gender, because if you can see in demographic variables, we are saying in research objective, the demographic variables mainly calls for the gender, calls for the age, or maybe for the education qualification. So here in the example I have taken two things. The first is gender and the other I have mentioned in the age. So I repeat, that is in H0 there is no significant difference in the social value of fashion luxury brands based on the gender. Alternate hypothesis for this is there is a significant difference in the social value of fashion luxury brands based on the gender. Another, if I am taking it with the age, I will be writing there is no significant association of the age and social value of the brand. Like you can see that here my study is related to the luxury brand. So I am taking two things mainly in the demographic. One is the gender and other is the age. And it depends on the researcher what other objectives researcher wants to, what other parameters or other variables he or she wants to consider. So I hope with this example it is very much clear in your mind that whenever we start writing the hypothesis, how we proceed in our process. And the process is that we start with question, as I am again and again emphasizing in my video. Then we make the RO, that is research objective. And based on that, if I want to quantify it, I go for research hypothesis. The subsequent examples will clear you more, because I have taken here 2, 3, 4 examples related to the different arenas, so that to give you a clear understanding of the hypothesis. That is also again is sometimes really the questionable, that where we require the hypothesis, where we do not go for the hypothesis or for the RQ, that I covered in my previous video. So I hope that will be clear now so far in your mind, that whenever there is a quantitative study, we consider, yes, we go for the hypothesis, and if it is a qualitative, we mainly or majorly focuses on the RQ. So now in this, if you can see the example, if my research question is that is there any effect of regular training conducted by training centers, because usually we take up certain questions in our mind and we want to validate the existing postulates, and the study is more of deductive in nature. So is there any effect of regular training conducted by training centers on the performance of employees of public sector banks? And here also I have categorized my study, I have confined my study to the public sector banks only. So for this, the objective again is to examine the effect of training on the performance appraisal score of the employee. Now here I have taken the variable that is the performance appraisal score, because whenever there is a training or the effect of training, where it will be reflect the most, that is obviously the performance appraisal, because we assume that the training help the employee to give the better performance. So now if I'll see, then I'll go for the hypothesis. There's no significant difference in the pre-training score and post-training score of the employees of public sector banks, and that score is usually related to the performance appraisal. So this is how we will frame the hypothesis, and again if you can see, this is null, and related to this is alternate. So we frame these two hypotheses and then we statistically test it. Another RQ, if you can see, is there any relation? Now here my question is that I'm just thinking or assuming that there may be some relation between financial literacy and financial planning. Now, why you think for this way is that because when we know that, yes, if the people are more financial literate, we take it as a relational. Maybe if I'm literate, then obviously my financial planning will be much more clear and confined in compared to a person who is not that financial literate. So now if the researcher wants to check that relationship, so that definitely the objective will be to identify the relationship between financial literacy and financial planning. Now then, for that, the hypothesis will be there is no significant relationship between financial literacy and financial planning. Now, the significant word is also having its own importance framing the hypothesis, because we check the level of significance and it is the basis of accepting or not accepting the hypothesis. So now here, if I want to identify the relationship, I go accordingly. Further, if you take another question or another, you can say, arena, that is, do Indians have more immunity as compared to American? Now, let's suppose I want to check it for any kind of virus per se. So I have mentioned here is XYZ virus, or right now, currently, pandemic situation is going on. So you can take this also as in your research study. So if you have a question that do Indians have more immunity as compared to American? So again, the RO is to find if Indians have more immunity as compared to American against this virus. And as it is mentioned in this slide, that whatever is your objective, it has to be very specific, as I always say, because to make your study more clear and precise. And here you have to highlight that what kind of people you are taking up, what kind of virus you're talking about, and like, so that you understand that immunity to be understood. So this is about the RO, and based on this, again, the hypothesis is there is no difference between the immunity of two set of population, where what we have taken in one as an Indian and other as an American, for a given point of time. That I also explained in my earlier videos, that time frame is also very important point to consider when we do research, and against the virus. So this is another example. And yes, the last example of my today's video is that do high-rise buildings, because as I told you that I have taken the examples of different arenas to understand or to give the perspective to all the viewers or the who are watching my video of different streams, because research is not confined to one stream, it is open for all. So the another example is the two high-rise buildings require special arrangements for water supply. Now here the study is more of, you can say, based on some components. So here the RO is to find the difference between arrangements required by high-rise and non-high-rise buildings for water supply in a given area. And based on this, my null is there is no significant difference in the cost of water supply, because we will be taking some variable to study cost of water supply between high-rise and non-high-rise building for in a given area. So in this way, once you go through this process, that is RQ, RO and RH, writing hypothesis will be easy for you, and you will be able to understand the things, and all the picture in your mind will be clear about your research work, and you'll be able to test your hypothesis efficiently and effectively. So with this, I'm going to give a pause on my video over here, and we'll be right back with you all with my next video, that is on research design.